Again, I really don't think that this is going to be my content, but I guess I'll make another note about a movie since, again, this is like most of what I do. I don't really have anything to do right now. I'm an unemployed bum, loser guy. So, anyway, I'm watching some movies, and I also watched Ex Machina recently. It's not a new film or anything, and anyway, I just happened to rewatch it. I was in the mood to watch. I'm very much into the sci-fi genre, and with what's going on with AI, it just seemed like a good time to watch the movie. And so I just kind of want to, I don't know, generally talk about the movie and what I think about it. Um, and I think the characters are pretty interesting. It's a very simple movie. Like the cast is only like four people and the pilot. But there's Nathan, and Nathan is, I think Nathan's probably the most interesting character in the movie because like he's not a real person. Like I don't think that someone like Nathan can really exist. And this concept couldn't really exist without, I guess, somebody like Nathan. And maybe once the world gets its Nathan, and what I mean by this is Nathan, when you think about what he is in this world of the movie, he is the guy who built the world's best search engine. He built Google and or Blue Book, and it's called in this film. And he owns it. He designed it. He developed it, and it's made him the richest man on. He's Elon Musk, right? But he's better than Elon Musk because he's actually, he's a certifiable genius too. Like he's not just the money, the guy holding the strings at the end of the day. He's actually like a certifiable genius. And sure, whatever, think what you want about Elon too. He's a pretty smart guy. But the point is like, he's this sci-fi character who is, you know, he is the pinnacle of humanity, right? He's created the biggest company on earth, and he's an intelligent guy who really designed it. And he's a prodigy. And in his spare time, on his fucking private island, he's building the fucking, singularity type machines in his basement, with a box of scraps. He's like Tony Stark, right? He's like simultaneously doing these two things, like designing a company that is, number one in the world, is, being like arguably your secondary accomplishment, creating, a genuine artificial AI. Because what we have currently is not that. These large language models that we have, like, they're pretty useful tools, but they're still just tools that humans use, and they're not intelligent yet, not truly, right? But that's the concept that Ava is that. Ava is that thing. She's version 9.4 whatever. Like she's a very highly iterated upon project. Ava's not just like he just kind of built her from the ground up out of nowhere. Like she is iterative. There's been I don't know how many. The story doesn't really get into. You see about 5 other robots that were in there. Most of them are hidden in a closet. You only really see the like Japanese maid and Ava, who is left looking like a machine because the fact that Ava, Caleb's presence coming out there and visiting, and he's showing her Ava. He's pretending to Caleb that Ava is the first of his, he thinks that Ava's really close to being complete and being genuine. And in fact, she ends up being that. Basically, she passes the test finally and kills everybody for it. But, up until this point, all the iterations previously hadn't done it. And now he wanted to test her. So he left her looking like a machine. And all his other iterations that he used to kind of uses as his personal butlers, are somewhat hidden from him. But anyway, like so Nathan is this incredible character. He's the best person in the world. And he's everything that anybody could ever want to be, right? I think they kind of try and create that in as you watch him. He's just supposed to be this exceptional person. He tries to be super personable, super friendly with Caleb, but he's also like super fit and he dances like crazy. Like no matter what you're watching, whenever Nathan's on screen, like he's just being a fucking superstar, right? And that's what he's supposed to be in the film. And Caleb's supposed to be a super high functioning guy with a little bit of damage and a little bit of baggage. Um, he's just the perfect candidate to kind of be this test subject, and Nathan has very specifically selected him to be that. So they're kind of an interesting, a guy who thinks he's smart versus a guy who really is just like a genius. Like I really do think, and and I know a couple people who are just geniuses. Like they are real people. Um, people who just comprehend on a level that doesn't make sense to you. Like you just don't understand how they get it so easily, and that they can live the way that they're able to live because they just have this understanding, and it's just easy for them to do it. Um, and it's interesting that we're built differently like that. But anyway, so that's what Nathan is, and that's what she is. And then I suppose those relationships are pretty interesting. I suppose the part about the movie that's fun is Ava is kind of manipulating Caleb the whole time, and Nathan is manipulating Ava and manipulating Caleb to just kind of create this scenario of can she get out of this trap? And the only problem I kind of have with the film is that is like how Caleb kind of gets one over on Nathan. I think it's a little bit silly and unnecessary. It doesn't really like pass the sniff test of like Caleb is in the final act of the movie when basically the machine has won. Is Caleb reprograms all the security programs so that whenever the power shuts off, instead of the doors locking, they all unlock, um, so Ava can get out. Um, in the movie, as you're watching it, you know, Caleb goes up to Ava and says, like, this is the plan. Here's what I'm going to do. But secretly, he's already done this plan. It's so weird. He's already actually done it. And then he tries to get Nathan drunk again. Like he did it the previous night. He got him drunk and, changed all the security settings. And then he just tries to get him drunk again to, I guess, maybe be able to slip off the premises as opposed to just kind of running away together with Ava in hand or something. So anyway, that's the revealing moment. And he's like, oh, yeah, but I already did that. I guess we'll see what happens. Like, oh, fuck. So Ava's officially unlocked. And then this is when it gets like, I think that maybe I don't really know much about what people think about the ending, but I've always kind of found it a little bit. It's perfect, I think, honestly, but it's kind of dreadful. Like it hurts to watch the film end. And particularly, I think the death of Nathan is a very like it's unsettling to watch it. You know what I mean? It's unsettling to watch how the machines kill him. Ava kind of talks to the other AI for the first time after they meet, and she like probably somehow like robotically opens her fucking mind up, and now this robot is capable of murder. So that's an interesting little side note, but together they end up attacking Nathan, and when Nathan tries to pull Ava back to the room, it's like the other machine just kind of lets him back up into the knife. And it's interesting to think that maybe she doesn't have the ability or the agency to do it, but she can now hold the knife in place, and Nathan just backs himself into it, more or less, right? And then of course, Ava stabs him in the heart. And I think that scene is just what makes it unsettling is kind of just how gentle it is. In a way, like that you can really die that simply. They put the blade in you, again, and you're fucking dead at that point. Like you're probably gonna die. And having like the near death experience. Well, I mean, he really does die, but just the kind of the way that Nathan dies is very. I've always kind of found it a little bit disturbing to watch him die because it's just a very simple portrayal of the dying experience and just how fast it can really end for you. But the I guess the weird part is what was Ava really thinking? And of course, what she was thinking is, you know, that this is just a human that she was leveraging to get out. And so she tricks Caleb and just leaves. And who knows what she does after that. And I don't think it's like, I think it's kind of important to ponder, like, what would Ava end up doing? Like, would she like just become president? Would she, work somewhere? Like, what would an AI do if they had to exist as a human in the world? Would she try and create and copy her programming into, another and create her own kind of model? Like, it's interesting to think like what could happen next, but that's not really the focus of the film. Um, I just think the characters mostly are somewhat interesting. So anyway, there's some rambling about Ex Machina, really great film, and yeah, maybe I'll talk more about movies going forward or anything.